Automation has enabled everybody, and there are, I think, around 200 million active websites on the world today. 750 million attacks on websites every month. Bot traffic represents 10 times more volume in traffic than humans. All right. Good afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well. My name's Stephen Nyan. I'm Director of Sales Engineering for Partners at Sectigo. It's been a few years since we've presented on stage here, so just a quick reminder of who we are and what brands we have. We've grown over the years. We have a family of brands that include SiteLock website protection, which ties in very nicely with what our previous speaker was talking about. And we have a suite of different brands for PCI, vulnerability scanning, website backup, and of course, everything around certificates as well. So we are Sectigo, one of the original certificate authorities, founded as far back as 1998, and we span the whole globe. One of the most outstanding numbers that I've seen is that we've issued over 1 billion certificates in this time, which is just an astronomical number. And of course, you don't get to survive this long in the tech industry and the security and privacy industry if you don't adapt to the times. So we have a long-standing track record of innovation, leading changes, adapting to the changes in the market and in the technical landscape. Last year we launched SCM Pro, which is a Sectigo Certificate Manager, which is our enterprise product. We shrunk it down and adapted it for the small and medium enterprise. And just last month, we released a new product, a headless certificate management option for partners to resell to their customers who don't have a managed certificate solution today. So why are we here? As I said, the landscape has evolved a lot, and there are two things primarily at Sectigo that we focus on. One is cyber protection for websites, and the second one is digital trust. And the previous speaker spoke a lot about increased risks of vulnerabilities and malware on websites. You can see WordPress is by far the largest CMS, and therefore it is the biggest target. Increasing risks are ever present there, and they are just growing and growing with the use of AI. Automation has enabled everybody, including the bad actors and also the good actors, to just increase activity. There are, I think, around 200 million active websites on the world today, and we see from our own data almost 750 million attacks on websites every month. 750 million attacks every month, and it's just growing. Bot traffic represents 10 times more volume in traffic than humans, and that's just going up as well. And over half of all bot traffic is malicious. On the certificate side, the biggest impact to businesses are outages. Anyone here experienced an outage as a result of a certificate? Yeah, I see a few hands up here, right? And you'll recognize all these names here, right? They're not obscure companies. LinkedIn, Starlink, Microsoft is on there a bunch of times, Google, Fortinet, Bank of England. Outages can affect everyone, and you need to make sure that you are managing their certificates correctly. It's very easy to forget one certificate If it goes down, it can be as consequential as stopping a rocket launch. That was the case with SpaceX a few years ago. And the industry is evolving, right? Things have been relatively stable for a certain period of time, but certificate-based outages are still a problem. And we're seeing increasing volumes of certificates going on. As the lifespan of certificates is decreasing, people are needing to replace these certificates more and more. And the threat of quantum computing, being able to break the algorithms that are pervasive in the market today, is starting to become a serious problem. And the solution is automation. You need to get rid of the human factor. As I said, certificate lifespans, they used to be, back 15 years ago, you could order a cert for 10 years. You can go and install that. You don't have to do anything for the next 10 years. That's then reduced further and further, 5 years, 3.5, 2.5, etc. Right now, it's about a year. It's a little bit more than a year, 398 days. Does anyone know why it's 398 days, not 365 days?
I can recycle it 30 days before it will end, and I have the same month of the year I can schedule it.
Right, exactly. So you have a little bit of a buffer, right? Because there is time that is needed to account for the human factor, right? You have a little bit of an extra time there. The person who is responsible for managing your certs might be on holidays. You need a buffer because you don't have an automated certificate lifecycle management system in place that's just doing it automatically. And Google proposed reducing the maximum validity to 90 days a couple of years ago. Apple has recently proposed a ballot at the CAB forum that will bring it gradually down to 47 days. So it's quite easy, relatively easy for this audience to go and generate a CSR and get the certificate and install the certificate. But if you have to do this at scale every month and a half, it's going to become an absolute nightmare for everyone. And then on the quantum computing side of things, computational capacity is just rising and rising. Even without quantum computers, it's quite possible that within a very short period of time, a few years, less than a decade, we could see RSA 248 and ECC, or 2048, ECC 256 being cracked. There are lots of malicious actors out there that are practicing the strategy of harvest now, decrypt later. So as all this data encrypted in transit is flowing around, they're just hoovering it up and saving it for the day that they can break it. So you need to become quantum ready. This is a slide that our marketing team put together, nicely titled, "The Certificate Management Cycle of Pain." If you have to manually manage your certificates, we still talk to customers, smaller customers typically, who manage their certificates on a spreadsheet. Handling renewals, remembering this certificate started here, it expires here, I need to renew it here. It's just a disaster. And the chances of running into outages is too great. And what happens if you hit an outage? Your site is down. Customers can't buy your products. You have to invest in fixing the product, in bringing your service back up again. You have to spend money on preventing it from happening again. Your customers are frustrated, annoyed, and also, it just so happens that today, your competitors were not down. So how can we help? What can we do to solve this problem? So the first thing is we have on the cybersecurity suite, we have a web security suite of products. The most prominent brand being SiteLock. SiteLock protects today over 14 million websites globally. That gives us a huge amount of intelligence. We see an awful lot of different kinds of threats, emergent threats, repeat threats, polymorphic attacks. We've just run an annual security report. It takes weeks and weeks to actually parse all of that data to generate our report. SiteLock is compatible with all major CMS platforms, WordPress being the largest. And the best thing about how SiteLock works is it requires minimal interaction from the end user. We can automatically find threats. For the vast majority of threats, we can automatically fix them. You don't need to do anything. If you have it configured, the product configured to remediate your threats, all you get is an alert. We fixed something. And for the very small minority of threats that we can't fix automatically, we have a team of experts who can dive into the code and do that. And then we also have another suite of additional features and functionalities to help reduce your risk. What does this mean for partners? For partners, it means an easy API integration with our solution that can be done relatively quickly. And if you want to go the approach of branding your own solution yourself, you can take the approach of creating a complete white label solution, as some of our partners have done. You can create custom packages. If you want to copy our good, better, best, that's easy to do. If you want to create something completely different, we can help you with that too. The key to dealing with the threat of quantum is crypto agility. Being agile is necessary to protect yourself against future threats. And that is achieved through certificate agility. If you can replace your certificates in a second or a few seconds, as soon as a threat is available or a risk or something is compromised, you can replace everything immediately. As soon as quantum resilient certificates are available, you can just swap out your entire set of certificates for quantum safe certs. And at Sectigo, you have one partner that can help with your website security and other affiliated products and your digital trust. On the SiteLock side, we have backup, DDoS protection, we have PCI vulnerability scanning, something that the previous speaker touched on as well, something that is becoming increasingly important for every e-commerce vendor to run vulnerability scans quarterly. We're seeing a lot of interest from partners for these services now. And then on the side of certificates, this typical model of discovery in your network. What are all the certificates that I have? Deployment, renewal, revocation, reissuance, all of this. From the enterprise level, the Sectigo Certificate Manager, all the way down through partners. We have solutions for partners, for SMEs, for end users. And it's not just enterprises that need certificate lifecycle management. Small businesses need this too. They are increasingly having more and more certificates that they need to manage. So, in order to address a portion of the market that doesn't have managed certificates, we've created a new product. We just launched it last month. We have several of our partners who have publicly launched, and we're calling it CaaS, Certificate as a Service. Not a particularly imaginative name, but it's very descriptive. In order to get away from the reducing lifespan of certificates that are going all the way down to a month and a little bit, we've decided to abstract away the service and the length of the service from the certificate. So we've created a subscription model. You now don't pay per certificate. You pay for the domain. You pay for the service of protecting your domain, covering your domain with certificates, with an unlimited number of certificates for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It doesn't matter. This will help solve partners' problems and help solve customers' problems. It is an API-driven solution. It's a very simple set of APIs. It allows customers to have predictable pricing. They pay for 1 year. If they want to add another domain to that subscription, we can prorate the additional certificates. You have one subscription period. If you want to have multiple subscriptions, you can have multiple subscriptions as well. And you can get unlimited subscriptions during this, unlimited certificates during your subscription period. So you don't need to worry at all about managing these certificates. The setup is a little bit front-loaded, but manually installing a certificate is front-loaded anyway. It's just that you have to do it again each year, over and over and over again, every time the certificate expires. The process for setting up a CAS certificate, what we've leveraged the ACME protocol, that is widely established and robust protocol in the industry. The customer needs to set up an ACME client and then buy a certificate from, or buy a subscription from a partner. The partner then creates an ACME account and adds the domain to the subscription. We return the account credentials to the partner. Partner gives those account credentials to the end user, and the end user just takes them, configures the ACME client. The ACME client takes care of the domain control validation automatically. It goes and calls home to our ACME server, grabs a certificate, installs a certificate, and it's done. And then as that certificate is due for expiry, the ACME client goes and grabs another one, installs it, goes and grabs another one, installs it, and as long as the customer keeps paying for the subscription, that just keeps happening. And so customers can just set it and essentially forget it. The headache of having to remember what are my renewal dates, what certificate is where, is gone. So for partners, what are the benefits? Well, for the unmanaged certificate business, you can finally automate certificate management for them. This will increase the lifetime value per customer. It will increase recurring revenue as well with the subscription model. The renewal rates, which are already fairly high, will go up even further. And you are helping to future-proof the solution for your customers. So as certificates go down to 200 days, which is likely to happen sometime next year, to 100 days, 47 days, your customers won't feel a thing. There's no need to worry about that. It'll be inconsequential to them. And once quantum computing or regular computing means that the current algorithms are defunct, I mean, I think NIST has already proposed that by the year 2030, they will distrust the existing algorithms. And by 2035, they will be completely unusable. So it might seem hard to imagine, but in 5 years' time, that's just 5 years away, in 5 years' time, we could be in a completely different situation with respect to TLS certificates, where life cycle is just over a month, and everyone is using quantum resilient certificates. So we suggest that you get ahead of this change and prepare your customers to be resilient to these changes now. I know it's just about to be lunchtime, so come visit us though. If you pass out that door there, you'll go by the Sectigo VIP lounge. Come in, come visit us. If there's anybody who doesn't have a VIP badge, you can just contact me or one of my colleagues and we'll escort you in. We can discuss any of our products. You can also find us on the website, or this email address goes straight to our partner sales team. Thank you very much.